Hey Denny, so here's another lesson for you. So today we're going to be looking at two different styles of bar chords. One is commonly called the Hendrix style of bar chords. Um, you'll see lots of guitar players use this. John Mayer, Eric Clapton, Hendrix obviously came up with it rather. Um, and so what it does is it allows you to play bar chords essentially without a bar, and you're also free to do hammer-ons and pull-offs while playing a chord. So if you listen to songs like Little Wing and Bold as Love, or Waiting on the World to Change by John Mayer, you'll hear a lot of this going on. Right. So the idea behind these chords is you use your thumb to play a note on the sixth string. So what we'll do is we'll start with a D. So you probably can't really hear, but there's going to be a section after this where you hear me actually play these things for you. Because again, I can't play and talk very well since I have to use an interface because I don't have an amp. But so let's take a look at how to build this chord. So the difference between this style of bar chord and the normal one that you're familiar with is you're only really going to be playing 4 or 5 notes, not all 6. So, well, there are ways to play all 6, but we're not going to look at that. What you'll do is you take your thumb and you'll put it on, you'll hook the 10th fret low E string, right, with your thumb. Then your pointer goes on the 10th fret of the B string, your middle finger goes on the 11th fret of the G string, and your ring finger is going to go on the 12th fret of the D string. And then your thumb goes on the low E string at the 10th fret. And you let your ring finger come up enough that it touches the A string, so that you want the A string to be muted. So you can do that with your ring finger or your thumb if it's long enough. Mine's not, so I use my ring finger. And you want your high E string muted. You don't need to mute your high E string. You can flatten that finger down and get that high note, but for now we're just gonna, you can leave that string muted. So what you get is 4 notes, right? So 10, 12, 11, 10. Okay? And so that is a D major chord. Now if you were to play the normal style bar chord that you already know and flatten across on the 10th fret and fill in that little E chord shape, there you go. You'll see it's the same chord. Cool. And now we'll take a look at how to make this major chord a minor doing this style of bar chord. And we'll take this down to B minor. Now there's a reason I'm doing D and B minor, because I'm going to show you a song next week that uses these chords. Right, so let's build the B minor. So normally you'd go to your 7th fret here, you'd make the B chord shape, and you know to take off your middle finger to make it a minor. Right? Now, this time it's going to be a bit different how we're going to build it. So, we know our thumb, again, is going to go on this B note here on the 7th fret. But the way you're going to build the rest of the chord is, I want you to do a triad here, so that's 3 notes, on the 7th fret. You're going to go on the G string, B string, and E string respectively, 7, 7, 7. So you're barring 3 notes. Then you take your ring finger and you put it on the 9th fret. So from the D string, G string, B string, and E string respectively, you get 9, 7, 7, 7, and then you grab your thumb on the bass. Right? So that's how you do the minor shape. And if you compare the old style with the new Hendrix style, you can see that you're still playing the same chords, or same notes in the chord, but you're just going about it a slightly different way. I almost exclusively play my chords in this Hendrix style. It's a lot more comfortable. It feels like you're really just gripping the neck all the way around instead of this shape here. But there are some chords that just aren't possible. Like, let's say I want to play G major add 9, a weird jazz chord kind of thing. No easy way to do that with the Hendrix style. I suppose you could play it a different way. But yeah, there are just some chords that it's easier and harder to do this style and this style. But I mean, if you have both in your toolbox, say, then you're just that much more prepared to tackle any chord that comes at you. right? Okay, I'm going to show you one more style of chord, and that'll be it for this week. So what you're going to imagine doing is this A major chord, right? You know the one, just two, so open A string, 2, 2, 2, and then open E string. You're going to imagine that your pointer finger is going to be the capo moving around, and you're going to bar 3 strings with your ring finger, okay? So let's take a look at how we would do a D chord. So now the root note for these chords is going to be on the low A string, and I'm going to send you some notes that show what every fret, which note every fret corresponds to going along the A string now, because you're used to looking for a chord on the low E string, the 6th string. So you know that if I go to 5 on the low E string, and if I bar there and play the chord, that's an A. But if I go to 5 on the low D string and fill in this A style chord, which I'm going to show you in a second, this is a D, not an A. So what you're actually playing is a D chord, right? And again, you'll be able to hear this a little more clearly when I play it through with the interface. So let's see how to build that chord. So you take your pointer finger and you go onto the 5th fret. We're going to be playing a D chord. And then you just simply take your ring finger and bar the D string, the G string, and the E string on fret 7. Right, 7, 7, 7. So you get 5 on the pointer finger and 7, 7, 7. Bar, note. And you let that finger mute the high E string. And I usually let my pointer finger mute the low E string so I can strum them all and get that chord. Right? Okay, so that's it. The Hendrix style chord, we have the D major and the B minor. And then I also want you to be able to play the D major in this style. The 5th position bar chord is what it's called. And if you're more comfortable using your pinky instead of your ring finger, you by all means, you can watch videos of Eric Clapton doing it and John Mayer as well. They almost exclusively use their pinky finger for this one. I use my pinky finger for the probably up to D, and then I find it easier to use my ring finger going up. But yeah. Okay, so I'm going to cut now, and it's going to go to me playing it clearly. And so I'm going to play the D chord, go through each note, the B minor, go through each note, and this 5th position bar chord, D. All right? Okay, so see you in a second.